I cannot believe how amazing this is. One bite? Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. We are going to be doing some freeze drying today, and this is my first official cooking video in our new house. I love our kitchen. I feel like a little princess in here, and it's been fun cooking away. And I have been dying to do this video. So if you haven't seen, Jared and I did a canning video with beef stew. The world is ending! Ah! This has been such a lifesaver. Even with our move, we eat it all the time. I think we can like 20 jars, and we've gone through over 10 of them already. So I love having that on hand. I think it's really fun preserving food, and freeze drying is the easiest to do. It's probably the most expensive though to get started, but the food lasts the longest as well. So did you hear Tommy's toys just fall off the couch? You can freeze dry pretty much anything except chocolate and honey, which honey lasts forever. You wouldn't really freeze dry that. Well, I have been dying to do a freeze drying video that's a meal. I really wanted to do beef stew and chicken noodle soup. So to get started, I already made my soups. I didn't want today's video to be how to make soup. I just really wanted to show freeze drying and then reconstituting it, how it will taste. I already made my beef stew yesterday, and I put it in the freezer. You do not have to do this. Freeze drying is really easy. You pretty much take your food or your meal, you put it in the freeze dryer, and it will automatically turn off when it is done. But to save me many hours of waiting with the freeze dryer, I put some of this stew in the freezer last night to get a head start, because when you put it in the freeze dryer, it's going to take several hours to freeze and then several hours to dry. So this will at least cut down the freezing time. And then I made some fresh chicken noodle soup today that I will put in the freeze dryer when this is done. But I wanted to show you both. How beautiful does this chicken noodle soup look? Ah, it's so good. I did make the noodles homemade today, which I will show you how to make right now. So I'm making my homemade egg noodles for my chicken noodle soup. I've got 2 cups of flour right here. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of salt. And this is the easiest. I don't know why it's taken me years to do this, but I did it last month and I'm excited to do it again. So I'm kind of making just like a little hole right there. And I'm going to do 1 full egg and then just 3 yolks. So I have 2/3 cup of water, and I'm just going to mix up the eggs, the flour, and I'm going to do a little bit of water at a time. It took me a long time to learn how to make pie, and you don't have to use the full amount of water. You just need to see how your dough looks. If it's really sticky, I probably added too much water, so go really slow and just add what you think you need. Okay, that was easy peasy. You can see that the dough, I'm glad I didn't add the rest of the water. It didn't need all that water. So I'm going to put a lot of flour down. Last time I did this, I was too light-handed with the flour. Like, more flour, the better with this sticky stuff, because it needs to dry. It is sticky. So I am putting a lot of flour down to combat that stickiness. I am going to roll this egg noodle into kind of a square, and it's rolling out so nicely. And then I'm going to cut the egg noodles, and then I will let it sit here to dry for about an hour or 2. I'm really glad I used more flour this time around, because the last time I did this, I didn't use enough flour, and when I went to pick up my noodles to put them in the soup after they dried, they were so sticky to the counter, and I can already tell that these are like lifting up, so it'll be much better to put them in my soup without it being ripped to the counter. While my soup is cooking on the stove, I'm going to let these egg noodles dry for the next hour to 2. So I'm just gonna cover those up and clean the kitchen, and then we will get on with freeze drying. If it's your first time making egg noodles and they're like clumpy, don't worry about it. Just throw it in the pot. I did that last time and it still turned out really good. These are what my egg pieces look like right now. There are some that were extremely sticky and hard to get up, but I'm still gonna put that in the pot. In my pot. Let's go ahead and throw these in the freeze dryer right now. I do have my jars washed and prepped and they are drying right now because right when these are done coming out of the freeze dryer, I need to put them in a container to preserve them. So you can either do it in a glass jar or you can do it in a Mylar bag. Ah, my fingers are freezing! Oh my gosh, my fingers are freezing. Have you ever had like a wart burned off? That seriously gave me PTSD of being at the doctor's office. That is cold. Okay, so I have my freeze dryer set up. It's super easy. The thing you need to make sure before you put your stuff in the freeze dryer is make sure your valve is turned off. Because when you're freeze drying it, it'll save up all that moisture, and when you take it out, you can turn the valve on and it will release all that water and moisture into a bucket that we have down here. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how cold it is on my fingers. So 3 of those are in. I'm going to make sure that is closed and secure, and I'm literally just gonna push start. It doesn't matter what you put in there. It could be fresh strawberries, frozen strawberries, soup, watermelon, avocado, whatever you put in there, you just push start and this is going to do its magic. I'm really glad that I did pre-freeze this because I think that that will help so it's just not in there so long. Okay, there we go. We'll see you in like literally what, like about 24 hours you think, Jared? There's been several reasons why I've wanted to do freeze drying. The main purpose for me is just so I have food on hand. Whether it's an emergency, whether it's, oh my gosh, we're moving, we're sick, I don't wanna cook, we've got food right here. That's my main reason why I like to do it. But my mom is getting into it as well. So she's doing a video right now. Go ahead and check out her video in my description, but let's give her a call and see where she is at in her process. Mom just called me back and she said, Ellie, hurry and film this. The food is almost gone. They reconstituted their baked beans and she said, it tastes just like it did before they freeze dried it. Look at that. So how long did you let the water sit for?
About 10 minutes to get everything nice and soft.
Awesome, and then you just heated it up?
Yeah.
It looks great, Mom.
Well, I just about didn't get it to you because Daddy just about ate it all, and I thought, oh, wait, let me call Ellie.
So while my beef stew is freezing, I've got my fresh chicken noodle soup that I have not frozen yet. There is liquid in here. I didn't just take all the liquid out. I just naturally did a scoop, drained a little bit, and put it in here so it's mostly this soup right here. I'm gonna freeze this as well while my beef stew is in the freeze dryer, but I did want to show you that you could put it in just like this and it could freeze and dry in the freeze dryer as well. Wow. What's weird is you think that this would be so cold, but it's actually warm. The tray itself is warm and there is ice all over in here. Oh my gosh, and I feel like I'm in the Willy Wonka factory. It smells it's so strong, it smells like beef stew. Let's go put these in the jars. There is 0 moisture in this. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to take all of this beef stew, and I think I would normally put it in a Mylar bag, but for the video's sake and for my pantry, I think it's really pretty in the jar. But moving forward, I'll probably put it in bags. So something that's really nice about this is I can have this on my shelf for long term. I can take it with us when we go on our vacation this summer for a week and we don't want to eat out all the time. This is so fun. So far we have all of these jars. So what you need to do is just put an oxygen absorber and you can close your lid. You do not have to seal it, but because I have a food sealer, it just gives me a better peace of mind. So I have my oxygen absorber, lid. We're over here, this is the food saver. I am going to put the attachment on, push accessory. You'll take this off, and this literally can go in your cupboard for 25 to 30 years. Can you believe that? All of the moisture is sucked out. Okay, so I need to hurry and wash my pans, put on my chicken noodle soup, and let's do that next. I just pulled these out of the freezer. Same process. There we go.
Wow.
I cannot believe we did it. We cooked chicken noodle soup, we cooked beef stew, we freeze dried it, and it is preserved, it is ready, it is not going to go bad. I cannot believe this. This is so fun to me, mainly because this is literally the easiest way to preserve food. I have done it several different ways, and I cannot believe how much fun I am having using a freeze dryer. Let's see how good it tastes. I already know it's gonna taste good because just by eating the carrots out of both soups, it was good. So I have my smallest jars that I'm going to open up. We are going to do the chicken noodle soup. Let's open this up. I'm gonna put some in here. This is the beef stew. You would think it would take the flavor out, but everything is so much more flavorful. So I'm gonna add some water to it, and I'm going to start slow. My mom said that oftentimes she thinks that you have to add a ton of water. It'll soak up the water that it needs. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of water. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. So I'm just gonna let that sit for 5-10 minutes and let it soak up all the water that it needs, and then we will turn on the heat and heat it up and do a taste test. Okay, come over here and look at the soup. Most of the time when you're reconstituting a meal, it just looks really kind of mushy and sloppy. So just know it's not necessarily gonna be the prettiest, but oh my gosh, it's going to taste the same as when you froze it. It looks so good. The potatoes are really sensitive, so if I mix it too much, they'll just fall apart. So I'm just gonna try and be careful and heat it up. I have my bread bowl here that I made. This video is coming up very soon. I made a bunch of bread bowls and rolls, and I showed you how I do it. The soup all smells perfect. I'm just gonna fill up my little soup bowl. Look how cute that is. Okay, come over here and we'll taste test her. Now is for the final taste test. I don't know what I want to do first. I think the chicken noodle soup is really intriguing to me because I did the homemade egg noodles, the carrots, I have onions in there. It smells so strong. And it tastes identical to the day I cooked it fresh. This is what boggles my mind, is this lasts for like 30 years. I could not believe how amazing this is. Jared and I have purchased some like long-term food storage before, and it's like, you never really want to eat it. I love the idea that I'm making this. You could make dog food, you could take this camping. If you put it in a Mylar bag, that would be better to bring than like a glass jar, but it's pretty good. Want a bite?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So
That's really good.
Dang good. Okay, let's try the beef stew. No words.
That good?
No words. Come take a bite of this meat.
Oh, it's hot.
Sorry.
Tastes like real
it's
real
so
meat.
good.
Tastes like real meat.
There's so many fun things that people do, but I don't really want to get into like the treat side until I've got like a good amount of hearty, good, healthy food on my shelf. So we're gonna eat these. We're not just gonna like put them on our shelf and be like, hope we use it someday. We're going to utilize these and eat these. On top of knowing that I have a sense of security, knowing that there's food in my shelf in case crap hits the fan. You could lose your job at any time. We could lose our job at any time. It's so fun. So if you haven't checked out my mom's video, she has her RV full of freeze-dried meals that her and my dad made. Don't forget to check out her video that is in my description right now. And I'm just gonna keep on having fun freeze drying. If you guys are interested in a freeze dryer, I will put the link in my description. It is costly getting started when you're preserving any kind of food, whether you're canning, freeze drying. I can honestly say it's worth it, but you should totally go in with a few friends or family members. My mom used a freeze dryer for a while and then brought it back down to me, so we've kind of gone back and forth. She now has one of her own, so this is so fun. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will do more. If you have any recommendations on what I should freeze dry, let me know for sure and I'll do a video on it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.